All right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second. It's your boy Jesse, and I just felt compelled to talk about this topic because it came up again today, and a little bit of a spin this time on it, right? As 49er fans, we talk about Trey Lance and the hate that's thrown in his direction and all these other things. But a lot of times we live in silos. And throughout those silos, we look at it and say, okay, well, this is the team that I root for, or this is the team that I cover. And so you hear every little thing about certain players on the team, on the organization, good or bad. And sometimes you feel like, okay, well, maybe, just maybe, my franchise quarterback is being picked on a little bit. And maybe you're wrong, right? But I don't think we are in this case. Now, I talk to a lot of other fan bases about their quarterbacks, Jets fans in particular. I've befriended a lot of Jets fans over the course of this offseason through Twitter and other social media. And Zach Wilson doesn't seem to get near the hate that Trey Lance does. And I really can't wrap my mind around it. And the reason I can't wrap my mind around it is simply because if you look at Zach Wilson, last year he was dead last in completion percentage, QBR, on target percentage. He had the highest percentage of bad throws and finished bottom 3 in yards per attempt. Okay, here's the thing though, right? If you remember my take about Zach Wilson before the draft, it was that I didn't believe in Zach Wilson because I felt like he was a professional dunker. And what I meant by that was he could make all the wow throws, like professional dunkers, right? They come in, they put in these crazy dunks that you've never seen. You're going, wow, that's crazy. But when you watch them play basketball, a lot of them can hardly even dribble a basketball, right? And that's what I said about Zach Wilson. If you look at Zach Wilson, he can make all the wow throws. I question some of the intermediate and short throws. Can he make those throws consistently? And from what I saw from him in college at that time, I did not believe that that was the case, right? Now, I don't want to pigeonhole Zach Wilson and say that I'm right about whatever my pre-draft thoughts were about him. But what I saw in the NFL in year one really backed up what my thoughts were about him. Now, that does not mean that he cannot overcome those things. I believe all players really deserve 3 full years in the league before you cast any judgment on them, right? I think that's a fair thing to do because you look at year one, players are just starting to learn the league, right? Year two, now they've got film out there and teams have caught up to them a little bit, right? But year three is when they get to make adjustments to those adjustments and you really figure out what type of players these guys are. It's also why I've said we should probably chill out on the Tua hate. I joke around a lot about Tua, but reality is Tua's only had 2 years. His first year was extremely rocky because he was coming off of a catastrophic hip injury. He was in and out of the lineup. It wasn't a fair situation. Year three, though, we're going to figure out who Tua is. Well, Zach Wilson's going into year two. And one thing I do know is his rookie year was not the best, right? That's very, very clear. And that's okay. Again, you don't deserve mega hate for not having a good rookie year. A lot of great quarterbacks have not had good rookie years, right? But then my thought process around that is, okay, if we're going to not hold Zach Wilson to this super high standard, then why is Trey Lance held to an incredibly high standard? But I want to talk about this because, again, this was not talked about. So I'm going to bring this on screen here. This was from Pro Football Network's Mike Kay. He was at Jets OTA, and here's what he had to say about Zach Wilson. And again, this was not big national news. If this was Trey Lance, oh my gosh, the things that would be said about him. He said, I got a close look at Wilson on Wednesday during OTAs at the team facility, and I came away with a shoulder shrug of sorts. Wilson got off to a rough start in team drills as his first 4 passes were as follows: a throw behind Corey Davis, a throw that hovered over everyone, a clear throwaway after being flushed out of the pocket, and another bad misfire. Wilson later completed a few nice passes over the middle and heavily targeted second year wide receiver Elijah Moore. By any measurement, Wilson's rookie year accuracy was disastrous. No quarterback had a worse completion rate over expected, and only Justin Fields had a worse adjusted completion rate per Pro Football Focus. And he goes on to talk about how Zach Wilson now has all the proper pieces in place and we should expect more from him. All right. I think that's a fair assessment, right? But again, if this news had come out about Trey Lance, the world would be on fire. In fact, all the news about Trey Lance from the people that are actually watching Trey Lance is that he's looked pretty good. But here's the funny thing. Naysayers will say, well, they aren't playing with pads. It's 7-on-7. They're not even wearing helmets, whatever, right? Which is fair. But Zach Wilson doesn't look good. They're not playing with pads. It's 7-on-7. They're not wearing helmets. You see where things can kind of get a little interesting here? All right, let me move on to this because, again, we didn't see a lot of Trey Lance, right? Totally fair to have questions about one Trey Lance, right? Hold on. Why can I not get this over here? Let's see if I can. My mouse is all out of whack. There we go. Okay. So it's fair to have questions about one Trey Lance, right? But let me show this to you because I feel like this is very important. So April 1st, I had broken this down. So what I did was I looked at the first two games for all of the major quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round last year, right? So their first two starts. And then I compared that to one Trey Lance. Trey Lance, out of all five of those quarterbacks, finished second in completion percentage, first in yards per game, second, tied for second in total TDs, and tied for the second least in total turnovers. Here's what's interesting. If you take all five of those quarterbacks, and what I like to do is I like to give them a number, right? So where they finished in each category. So completion percentage 1 through 5, same thing with total yards, total TDs, and total turnovers. And you add those things up and you get a score. Lower the score, the better. It's like a golf score, right? Well, when I did that, Trey Lance was clearly the best out of those guys. He had 7 total points. Again, the lower the score, the better. Mac Jones was second best at 9. Trevor Lawrence, 11. Zach Wilson was second worst at 12, and Fields was way down there. Remember, Fields had a really rough start to his career. Now, I think the next thing is you're going to say something along the lines, well, it's the Texans, right? Fair. That's a fair statement to say. Here's the problem with that. When you look at their first two games, Mac played the 32nd ranked defense in the Jets. Lawrence played the 30th ranked defense. Fields, in his first two starts, played the 31st ranked defense. And the Texans, by the way, were 23rd in passing defense. So when you look at all of those in context, Trey Lance actually looks pretty damn good, right? But the hate for Trey Lance is so bizarre to me. It's so bizarre. And I cannot get over it. Again, Zach Wilson, right? If Trey Lance is getting the hate he's getting, why isn't Zach Wilson getting the hate he's getting? In fact, why isn't Fields getting the hate that Trey Lance is getting? Right? None of it makes any sense to me. So it's just funny to look at all these things and analyze it and break it down. Again, we don't truly know what any of these quarterbacks are going to be until they are 3 years into their career, right? We have guesses, you have glimpses. What you want to see from these guys is flashes. What you want to see from these guys is improvement, all of those things. But until the end of year 3, we really truly don't know. We'll see what it looks like in year 2. I feel very confident about Trey Lance. I really do. We'll see how these other guys look. But do any of these guys get the patience that they deserve put into their career from the media or whoever. And B, if one Trey Lance starts to look pretty good, what does it take for the narrative to change? Right? That's the question I have. So just thought it was interesting. I had to bring it up because I see this stuff about Zach Wilson. I know who Zach Wilson has proven to be so far in his career, and he gets no hate. Yet Trey Lance, who was taking a pick later, gets all the hate in the world. Do with that information what you will. Appreciate you tuning in as always. And until next time, peace.